Hello, friends. Dmitry Mikhailov here, also known as Ezida. In today's barrel roll, we'll continue to look at Rank 5 fighters, specifically the Me-163, a unique plane which had a huge impact on the history of aviation. This was the only aircraft equipped with a liquid-cooled rocket engine that was taken into service and used in battles. Incidentally, this plane didn't deserve the designation Me-163 at all. The creative input of Willy Messerschmitt and his company in the creation of this plane was very minor. And according to accepted tradition in Germany, the plane should have been named after its head designer, in this case, Professor Alexander Lippisch, and not Messerschmitt at all. The Me-163's first flight took place in 1941. And at that time, it was able to reach record flight and climbing speeds. But let's get back to the game. In fairness, it must be said that the Comet has to fight against more than just the jet-powered fighters created during the Second World War, such as the American P-80 and F-80A of 1944, or the British Meteor F Mark III. Our battles will sometimes include the most dangerous opponents of the Korean War period, the American F-86 Sabre, and the Soviet MiG-15. Surprised? I know I am. Well, never mind. Let's see what we can do. To begin with, I'll note our first advantage. We start in the air, which already gives us a good chance to end up higher than our opponent. But as it turns out, this isn't worth worrying about, and there are two reasons for that. The first, and you'll see it in a moment, is our climbing speed advantage even over the MiG-15. The weight of an empty Comet is around 1,900 kilograms, and its engine thrust is a 1,700 kilogram force. The second reason is that the easiest way to shoot down planes like the F-86 Sabre is to catch them at low altitudes, where they won't be able to go into a sharp nosedive and escape. In those cases, not only can we not catch the Sabre, but nor can any other more modern jet-powered fighter. Our next advantage consists of our excellent capabilities when it comes to turning at medium and low speeds. In this respect, we outstrip the Meteor, for example, and even a few piston-type aircraft. On top of that, we have a pretty good roll, which allows us to perform interesting maneuvers. But we'll get back to that a little later. For now, let's take a look at some problematic points and methods of solving specific difficulties. One of the most important disadvantages is the fuel supply, which lasts for only 6 minutes. This seems seriously limiting at first glance, but experienced pilots can make correct use of their precious time in the air. The first step is to quickly gain height and reduce your thrust to 30 to 40%, after which we'll be in standby mode. Our task is not to dive at Sabres flying by practically at maximum speed, but to attack when jet-powered fighters start dogfighting. These dogfights aren't as common as dogfights between piston-type aircraft, but the main thing is to be patient. This strategy will practically guarantee that you can destroy at least one enemy airplane. After all, even after just a couple of maneuvers and turns, your enemy has lost a significant amount of its initial speed. When diving at high speed toward an enemy plane, we come up against two problems at once. The first is the risk of tearing off a wing during sharp maneuvers. You certainly can't sharply pull up or quickly roll in the Comet. You have to move your sights quite slowly. Moreover, at high speeds, our elevation rudder is less responsive, and this can cause cases like the one on the screen right now. So, don't be afraid to reduce your thrust to 0. When necessary, the Me-163 can quickly regain its speed. It has excellent acceleration performance. When you dive, don't forget to look behind you, particularly if you get tunnel vision when chasing someone. As you can see, people quickly punish you for this. To ensure that this sort of thing doesn't happen, I advise you learn a certain maneuver. But remember, it has to be done carefully on the Comet. If you have an opponent on your 6, then start with a skewed loop. At a speed of 640, you can boldly pull in the stick, the wings won't go anywhere. At the top of the loop, we break our trajectory with a roll and head upwards again. In this manner, by constantly pulling up and gradually rolling the plane, we perform a rising spiral and lead our opponent along behind us. As you can see, the Comet pulls off this maneuver very well. Now, the question comes down to pinpoint shooting. The weaponry is worth talking about separately. As you know, the Me 163B represented in the game is equipped with two Mark 108 cannons with 60 rounds to the barrel. This is a pretty small ammunition complement, and that means you have to shoot carefully. On top of that, the renowned complex flight ballistics of these cannons' shells means that firing them requires a good amount of skill. In this, all you can do is practice. Try to lead your enemies more than usual, or get closer to them if you're firing from their six. Thankfully, the nimble and fast-moving Comet allows you to do this. Besides the Me 163B with its Mark 108 cannons, there were actually designs for a Me 163C with 20mm MG 151 cannons and greater thrust, but the design never went into series production. Naturally, it'd be nice to see such a model in the game. After all, they did manage to assemble 3 Me 163C prototypes, but in the end, they were destroyed by the Germans themselves. Well, I hope you liked this episode. Please support this video series by giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. I wish you success in learning how to fly this unique German creation and excellent scores in the skies. Until the next episode, good luck.